Then the Secret Service agent turned up again, yanked me off the street, took me to the police station. Excuse me. Took me to the police station. I challenged him this time. I was a bit better prepared. I said to him, look, I've got sealed envelopes. I showed them. He said, what the hell, basically, what did you do that for? And I said, because I did it so that I'd have future proof at a later date that I'm not a liar and I've told the truth. I told him I want to know why that helicopter crash matches precisely what's in those files. I wanted to know why the raid date was precise to the files, May 1st. I wanted to know why the location was exact, Abbottabad, precise to the files and the sealed letter. I wanted to know why the funeral was precise to that sealed letter and the files. It can be proven, just open up the letter. But I want it done in court with the British press there. Moreover, I want my family present. Anyway, he became really agitated and would answer no questions. He tore off into the corridor and started making heated calls to, I don't know who, I guess higher up. I don't know. It'd be logical. At that stage, I stood up and told the police officer there that I'm leaving, and I walked out. I go back and I pick my wife up at work, take her back to where we live. The officer's waiting for us when we get back, the agent. He detains me, takes me to a mental asylum. I'm held there for 3 days. On the third day, I have a hearing. Came out of the blue. Wasn't allowed to provide any evidence to show that I'd told the truth. They appointed a lawyer, which I declined. They had a very young judge there, in fact the youngest judge I've ever seen. They had, I think he was a psychologist who gave a statement against me, but I'd never spoken to him. I'd only seen his face. He grinned all the time. My wife will bear it out. My wife stood up and said, look, I'm a 28-year federal employee. I have clearances. I don't lie for no one. I signed the documents. I sent the documents. How come you're doing this to my husband when I did the same things? You're covering something up. There was no reply. We asked to show the document that we'd signed on May 4th. I asked the agent if I could have a copy. I was never given one. You would have thought I would have been. He showed it to the judge. It was ignored. It had about Osama bin Laden on it, yes. At a later date, we asked if we could obtain those documents. They should have been kept on court record. They were nowhere on court record ever. And yet, if there was an appeal, and we requested an appeal, they should have been kept on. Why weren't they? Again, you're starting to see what's gone on. I'm telling you the truth. I get taken away. Excuse me. I get taken away to another mental hospital. The police officer who took me there was a sheriff, and I want to say something here. He was a decent man. He told me that he should have shackled my feet as well as my hands. He didn't, because he knew I was in trouble, and I thanked him for it. But when I got down to the mental asylum, I was checked in, and I saw a psychiatrist for the first time. I spoke to him for no more than 5 minutes. They said I was talking agitatedly. Yeah, I was. I was shit scared. They never took account of someone being told that you might have your feet shackled for the very first time in your life ain't the most comfortable thought in the world. She asked me why I thought I was being put in this place. I told her. I never saw the person again. Not on a one-to-one. And what happened then was I was put into the mental asylum, confined in an area, basically a corridor with rooms on it. Then eventually I was let into a more open area a couple of days later. My wife and I had a conference call with around 10 people. I was in the hospital, my wife was at home. My wife told the 10 people around the desk, and it may have been more, but she told them around the desk that, 1, that I told the truth, 2, it was never delusion, because if it was, then she was party to that delusion, because she sent the files in, she signed the files, or signed the paperwork. She gave them letters in the hospital stating it was fact. She stated that as a government officer, they would have never allowed her to stay in that job saying those things, and they were not getting rid of her. My wife does contracts with CIA and Secret Service. Think about it. They'd never let her stay in that job if she was in any way unstable or in any way a threat to the United States. So what it's telling you clearly is this. They wouldn't take my wife to court because it would cause real serious problems, because she was credible. I'm just an ordinary person. Clever, oh yeah. I'm bloody clever. But I'm not a liar. So, I was let out. If I'm a threat to the president, would they have let me out after 10 days? I'd been put on drugs. Basically, they said I was willingly taking the drugs, but what they said to me was this. The Secret Service agent said if you don't go along with the treatment, then he'll put you in prison. Wise man takes the drugs. I told them very clearly, and I have a record of it, a signed record, that I told them that I would appeal, that I told the truth. They said in the letter that I said it was a conspiracy. That's not true. That's their words. There was just, I guess the best way of describing it is the F word. They upped. I think you understand that one. And they were trying to cover it up. On the Arizona thing, yeah, that's what happened. Simple as that. Other people had phoned in about Arizona. They'd all heard about it, the possibility of it around the campus. That's why after the killings, the Arizona people wanted a hearing held by the government. The government denied it. They wouldn't allow it. I have reasonable evidence that should have took place. I think it's overwhelming, but that would be up to court to decide. In my opinion, it's a bit too late. We just really need to make sure our government doesn't allow those things to happen again. Getting back to the other. I go home. Decide to keep my mouth shut, return home and to England, and then do something about it. On a Sunday night, I get a phone call at 10 o'clock in the evening from the agent who talks to me. Something along the lines about, you know you can't see the future. Is he a bloody idiot? No one can see the future. Not that I know of. We might have people who see maybe one or two things, and maybe that's possible. But not see the whole scenario of a raid. That's not true. That's not possible. It's not true, right? So, he then phones back a second time within minutes after the phone goes down. I told him that yes, I was going home, that we were having difficulty arranging money to get back. It wasn't straightforward just walking out. I told him legally when I go home I would try and redress the matter. Second phone call he comes back on. And he said, I'd like to see you go home to be with your family. That's not what he said the first time. My wife was of the opinion he may have been recording it. She told me at the time, because she was listening, keep your mouth shut. Don't get trapped. So I did. We leave the country. We go back. My wife draws all her pension out. She got a buyout from the government, the only one to be offered as far as we know in the Department of Interior at the time. We used the money to try, or I should say, when my wife lands in Heathrow Airport, she's denied entry into the country. She's told she has to leave. Yeah, I know. She has 3 days. They arrange from a plane. We tried to get on the aeroplane. It wasn't properly arranged. So then what happened was, we go to the police. Tell them it. The police say we're of the opinion she's not illegal. Immigration says she is. Police say she's not. So we're left in a effectively a limbo state, not knowing which way to turn. Proper place to turn is your MP. When you're homeless, you try doing it, but when it's this situation, you try doing it again. I started off with Anne Coffey. I gave her details. No reply. And yet when I had a house problem all those years before, she got back within 2 or 3 days to give me an appointment. I tried Mark Hunter, Teresa Villiers. In the case of Teresa Villiers, I tried several times, and I spoke to the assistant recently. The assistant said to me at the door, "You're crazy. Everybody's seen the feature film. We all know it's true." God Almighty, if his limit of intelligence is a feature film. My wife witnessed it. But anyway, so now my money's run out. I'm in a hotel at the moment because one of my family put me up in there for a couple of days. Been walking the streets. Not entitled to benefits or anything else. Been out in the country too long. I probably can get it if I really fight. I'm an American. You know how Americans feel about those things. We're taught to stand up ourselves. My wife is homeless with me, with a dog. Never had that before. We live middle class lives. There's a receipt that was sent to the CIA, 2 files. It's one of 2. There's a certificate showing my wife has 20 years service at that time in the government, Fort Monmouth. She was Employee of the Year, CECOM. This is a straightforward letter, saying, I'll read it. I had asked for an appointment, but was declined. Surprising that I'm a federal employee, but I do understand the nature of the job. I witnessed all my husband told, and we have documentary evidence. In essence, she's asking for an appointment to speak with somebody from the CIA. It goes on. She signed it. It was dated 3rd January 2011, before the raid. The files have 100% proof that I gave them all the information that they wanted for that raid. Did they use the files? Well, here's what I argue is this. Maybe I'm that clever, I just got it all right. But there's a problem with that. The date of the raid matches the date in the file. The burial time matches the time in the file. The carrier was calculable. So was the helicopter crash. It was calculable. Yeah, it really was. A very confined area. I was the source. Now think if that's true that I've had to stand up and do this. Think about the situation if I've told the truth. Do you think they would want to cover this? Think of the risk I've taken. And I'm asking the people on YouTube, if they would, don't take this off if you get pressured. I'm an American who stood up for those people in Twin Towers. Did I cry for them? I'm honest. No. Was I sad for them? Yeah. One life's enough. But all those lives, it's a travesty. But I was not obsessed or anything like that. I simply provided information. I did the duty of every American. Would I stand by what the SEAL team did, whether they did right or wrong? Yes. They're from my country. Will I stand by the CIA and Secret Service? No. They're destructing our country. If I'm a liar, then explain this.